Donald Trump is facing renewed scrutiny over his past connections to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Just last month, in a controversial move with his close ally Mike Johnson, he pushed to send Congress home early, perhaps hoping that a break from Washington would cool down the conversation. But instead of fading away, the spotlight has only grown stronger. The more efforts have been made to shift attention, the more focus has turned back to this very issue. And now, with Congress back in session and Epstein-related files reportedly close to becoming public, Trump appears to be taking one of his most surprising steps yet, this time within his own administration, to shield himself. In fact, this latest maneuver has also left some of his closest allies, like Kash Patel, blindsided. We'll break down exactly what happened, why Patel feels betrayed, and how this all connects to the bigger picture. But before we dive into these new developments, let us take a quick look at how Trump-AS' latest distraction attempt has put the Department of Justice under fire. And it begins with commentary from Lawrence O'Donnell right here.
Absolutely nothing. To stand there with the most humiliating assignment ever given to American soldiers in uniform in this country. That was the stunt of the day. That was today's attempt to distract from the Epstein files and how many times and in what ways Donald Trump's name appears in the Epstein files. Donald Trump's Attorney General promised to release the Epstein files before she went to the White House to tell Donald Trump how many times his name appears in the Epstein files and in what ways his name appears in the Epstein files. And then suddenly the Attorney General and the Trump FBI director changed their minds about releasing the Epstein files. Last night on this program, Congressman Robert Garcia made news by revealing that in the secret testimony Monday to the House Oversight Committee, former Trump Attorney General William Barr said it is fully within the power of the current Attorney General to release every word of the Epstein files.
He indicated that the current Attorney General, Pam Bondi, has it within her power to release those files right now.
And today a federal judge pointed to the Epstein files when the judge rejected the Trump Justice Department request to release the grand jury transcripts in the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein. The judge made it clear that the grand jury transcripts do not include any witnesses other than an FBI agent who summarized the information that they had obtained from witnesses and documents in their investigation of the case. That was enough to get an indictment of Jeffrey Epstein for his sex trafficking and raping children. Today, in his decision, Judge Richard Berman wrote, a significant and compelling reason to reject the government's position in this litigation is that the government has already undertaken a comprehensive investigation into the Epstein case and, not surprisingly, has assembled a trove of Epstein documents, interviews, and exhibits. And the government committed that it would share its Epstein investigation materials with the public. The government's 100,000 pages of Epstein files and materials dwarf the 70-odd pages of Epstein grand jury materials. The grand jury motion appears to be a diversion from the breadth and scope of the Epstein files in the government's possession. And so there is a federal judge saying in writing today that the legal maneuver that Donald Trump personally announced on social media of asking for the release of the grand jury testimony was nothing but, in the judge's words, a diversion.
Now, I don't think Donald Trump's recent moves in Washington are just random distractions. They appear to be part of a larger plan, an attempt to normalize the use of federal power, even deploying troops wherever he wants. We saw it in Los Angeles, we're seeing it in D.C., and the idea seems to be that he could extend it anywhere. But yesterday's specific action? That was clearly a media stunt, a show, something designed to pull the spotlight. Because Trump knows that very soon these staged distractions won't work anymore. With Congress returning and Epstein-related files reportedly close to being unsealed, the pressure is coming back, which is why Trump is trying to strengthen his inner circle right now. And that puts Kash Patel in a very difficult position. For some context, just last month Patel commented about Dan Bongino's role. According to reports, Patel had even suggested he might resign if Bongino left the administration. Frustrations reportedly centered on Attorney General Pam Bondi and her handling of the Epstein files. Patel and Bongino were said to have pushed back strongly while Bondi ultimately emerged with more influence. CNN reported that Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey was brought in as co-deputy director of the FBI alongside Bongino, a move widely seen as Bondi winning the internal power struggle. This appointment also fueled speculation that Bongino could soon step down. At the same time, Bondi herself went quiet for a while amid criticism of the DOJ's decision to close the Epstein case without releasing further details. But recently, she has reappeared in interviews with Fox hosts Sean Hannity and Larry Kudlow, suggesting she believes the storm has passed and that she is in the clear. Yet while Bondi may feel secure, Trump himself is far from done dealing with the fallout. Members of Congress like Robert Garcia, Khanna, and Thomas Massie are pushing to make sure that victims' voices are heard, that the controversy isn't buried, and that political distractions don't erase accountability. So, yes, Bondi may have gained ground over Patel and Bongino, but that doesn't mean the Epstein issue has gone away for Donald Trump. Not with lawmakers determined to keep the spotlight on it. And with Congressman Garcia leading the charge, this story is far from finished.
Now, I think everything can be made public. I think there are going to be some instances. The Bill Barr testimony can be made fully public. Of course, there are going to be some moments where around victims and around making sure that we're protecting victims that we don't want to make public. But as far as Bill Barr's testimony, we'd obviously review it one more time, but there's nothing in that testimony, as I have seen, where that's the whole testimony should not be made public by the Oversight Committee.
Is there a Republican strategy on the committee to their approach to these witness interviews that they're conducting?
Yes. Their strategy is to distract. Their strategy is to handpick Republican witnesses that may not know a lot about the case or about Donald Trump's connection to the files. Their strategy is to slowly leak parts of the Epstein files, which is a reminder they didn't want released at all until we forced that vote. They had no interest in getting the Epstein files released. The DOJ had no interest in releasing any records or documents. It was only the subpoena that we forced that is actually now snowballing what we're seeing in front of us. And what's going to happen over the next few weeks is Republicans are going to put out different members. They want to see witnesses, former administration officials, Democratic officials, Republican officials, but they are not going to get to, or they don't want to focus on what really matters. Right now, today, Pam Bondi and Donald Trump have the power to release the full files and Epstein records today, tonight, right now. No one is stopping them. No one coming in front of us that's going to be deposed can change that the single most important thing that we need are those records. And Bill Barr, by the way, said as much in his testimony. He agreed when pressed if Pam Bondi could release the files today, and we agree with Bill Barr. She has the power to release all of the documents now, and Friday is not good enough. We'll see what we get Friday, but they're going to slow roll what they want to put out. And so we're going to make sure that every step of the way that we verify what's in these documents, we protect the victims, but we're not going to rest until the entire records and files are with us, and then that we can finally eventually get that out to the public.
Well, let me go back and double underline something you just said. It was former Attorney General William Barr's testimony yesterday under oath in that deposition that it is within the power of the Attorney General now to release the entire Epstein files.
Oh, yeah, he made that clear. And so I think that that's something that he understands. We all know. I mean, Lawrence, we all heard Pam Bondi. I mean, the files were on her desk. She said it on Fox News. She had access to the entire files. She's read through them. She's done redactions and her team herself. We know she has briefed the president on the Epstein files and his name being in the files. This has all been reported to the public. And so the question continues, why this delay? Why not just release all the files? Why do we keep bringing folks in, many of whom have no real knowledge of what actually happened? I am looking forward to this Friday. We want to see what's going to be released, and then we're going to push like hell to make sure that every last record and document is released, including, by the way, the client list. The client list is going to be very important, and I'm hoping that we get that on Friday. And we've got to remember, regardless of who's on that, this has got to be focused on the victims, and anyone that has done any harm to people or was involved in these crimes should be exposed, and the public should know who those people are.
It sounds like the breaking news of this hour right now that you're telling us is that the former Trump Attorney General, the last Senate-confirmed Trump Attorney General, says that it is within the power of the current Attorney General to release the entire Epstein files. Did William Barr indicate whether he would do that if he were Attorney General now?
He didn't indicate that. He indicated that the current Attorney General, Pam Bondi, has it within her power to release those files right now. And so we're once again saying she should release the entire files. And this idea that she's going to roll out some of it on Friday and then continue this kind of planned stage rollout is not acceptable. Once again, they are playing distraction, playing games. This is all part of a massive White House cover-up.
I've said this over the past few days, but it feels more important now than ever to keep the focus on Epstein. With Congress coming back into session, Donald Trump will almost certainly try another move to shift the conversation, something to get the public talking about anything else. But this is the issue we cannot afford to ignore. We need the same energy and urgency we saw before. Even some Republicans quietly voiced frustration over the Epstein files. That pressure needs to return, and we should be talking about it every single day. I know many of you are already pushing for that, and I'll keep doing the same. If you'd like to support this effort, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, drop a like on this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, leave a blue heart in the comments so I know you're with me. Until next time, I'll see you soon.